to BellaVet. Today I'm here with one of my very good friends, Mina.
Hey guys!
She goes to the University of Glasgow, School of Veterinary Medicine, and I go to University of Missouri College of Veterinary Medicine in the States. So we thought we'd do a little video today for you guys of vet schools in the US versus vet schools in the UK. And we're both originally from Michigan, so it would be US-based students going to these schools. But yeah, we thought we'd give you a little bit of insight as to what the difference is, because some students like you had to make the choice of whether to go or to stay in the States. So it's a hard choice to make, so we thought we would give you guys a little bit of information. And yeah. You ready?
Yeah, no, I'm totally ready.
Okay, sounds good. Let's go. So first, we thought we would talk a little bit about like the application, interview, acceptance, touring, all of that, because at least in the States, the school that I got into used a common app, which was called VimCast. Oh, the good days of VimCast.
Oh Lord.
Just so many hours of like entering information, but like all for a good cause. And so it's basically this big common app that you have to fill out with details of all of your hours and letters of recommendation and all of your transcripts and all of that. And then for me, my interview was about a month before I got my acceptance letter, and it was at Missouri, and we walked in and there was like lunch that day, and then I had my interview and then I had my lunch, and then I had a tour of the facility. And yeah, it was really nice. And at least at Missouri, I know some schools within the States are probably different, but it was like a 15-minute interview and it was pretty conversational. And yeah, the whole day I was really nervous for it, and then I got there and I was like, oh wait, these people are nice. And the best tip that I have for interviews is like when you walk in, they want you to succeed. The people in the interview room, like they want you to crush it, and they want to be like, that's an awesome candidate, you know? So like that's how I felt, but I know some interviews can be scary. And then so that's when I did my tour, so I didn't go back before I decided. So what was yours like?
So I did not tour Glasgow
Okay.
prior to coming to school here. I based my experience of Scotland in general off of a family trip several years ago. The application was also on VimCast. There was no supplemental at that time. I don't know right now. The interviews, they got back to me really quick for an interview offer. And then I could either choose to interview in San Francisco or in New York City, and because I'm from Michigan, I chose New York. And then my interview took place in February, and they actually offered me a seat a day later.
Oh my gosh.
I kid you not. So they let you know right away. It's really, really nice and very not stress-inducing. But hey, it's all good. So yeah, it was honestly pretty easy. Everybody at Glasgow throughout the application process was very easy to work with. So
That's awesome. And I also thought we would talk a little bit about orientation, because mine, which I think might even be a bit different between all of the state schools, but mine was basically a 3-day summer camp, which was really fun. And so we all went to this summer camp basically, and we stayed there, we slept there for 3 days, and we just did a lot of like bonding exercises, lots of trust falls.
Oh boy.
Lots of just, I don't know, like lots of good talks. There were talks about like well-being and like things like that, and yeah, it was just really nice. But what was your, did you have an orientation or?
So our orientation was the week prior to actual classes starting. They basically just went through, where's the library? How to use the library? Here's all of the on-campus services that you can use. Here's how the course is going to go. Honestly, it was all pretty basic stuff that any U.S. student who's ever gone to universities, heard most of the spiels before.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
So I also thought that we could go over a little overview of what kind of the program is like in a nutshell. And in the States, you go to undergrad for 4 years, get a bachelor's degree, and then you go to vet school for 4 years. And at my school is a 2-and-2 program, so we've got 2 years of lectures and 2 years of clinicals. And then you take your boards and then you graduate, and so that your DVM is within 4 years. And in the UK, it's 5 years, but do you want to talk about that?
So it's 5 years in Glasgow. However, RVC and Royal Veterinary College and University of Edinburgh, I think it's University. Anyways, they, I believe, offer both 4 and 5 year programs.
Oh, interesting.
So it depends upon kind of your track, how you're feeling, and I think how, for U.S. students, how their undergrad has gone. Say I think if you're like in an honors college, then you can go for the 4-year route.
Oh, gotcha.
But they do obviously accept people who weren't in honors programs. Anyways, so at Glasgow, the first 2 years are called our preclinical phase, which is basically based on everything that goes right. And then years 3 and 4 are called our clinical phase. They tend to pull us more towards casework. There's a lot more of how things go wrong. And then 5th year is called our professional phase, where there's no more lectures. And then it's split up into 4-week blocks, and most of those blocks you're spent either way doing externships, rotations. You do get 4 free blocks, and I think you usually take one of those to study for the NAVLE, so North American Licensing Exam. Mm-hmm. And then you graduate in June of your 5th year.
There you go.
Ta-da!
Yay! And and so we thought we would go kind of year by year and talk about what my first year was like, what your first year was like. So first year for me was kind of like Mina mentioned earlier, how everything goes right. So what we mean by that is basically learning everything about animals and their systems in the way that in health they're supposed to be. So we learn normal anatomy, physiology, immunology, cell biology, all of the things that just teach you the way things are right now. And what's it like in the UK?
So in the UK, your first 4 years are split up into modules. Each year, or at least for first and second year, you do 6 modules each year. And then those modules generally tend to focus on a specific body system. Or we have had one module that's on exotics. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty broad spectrum, to be perfectly honest. But there are also modules on cardio, there's modules on the urinary system, repro, digestive. We also have a module on the general agriculture, I guess, market, industry, and that's
cool.
Basically how it's structured.
Gotcha. And then in the States, second year, at least at my school, is how everything goes wrong. So what we mean by that is pathology. So that's when you start learning about diseases. And I remember after our very first general path lecture, where we just learned about terms, vocabulary that they use, I don't know, miliary, or all these, descriptional terms. Everyone was just so happy that they started learning about diseases. But so it's a lot of pathology. We also learned about surgery, and then kind of system-wise, ophthalmology, theriogenology, bacteriology, virology, parasitology, clinical pathology, all of the ologies. And so that's where we get a lot more of the diseases and the specific systems in which the diseases arise. How is it?
So in the UK, there's a little bit of what goes wrong sprinkled in with our general body systems. We do have, as you said, a little bit of neoplasia mixed in, oncology. parasitology, a little bit of all that mixed in there. And also, I forgot to mention earlier, with all UK schools, it is required by the Royal Veterinary College that all students.
Yes. Oh,
You're going to make an appearance.
Okay, continue.
Um,
It's gonna be a scoop.
that we complete 12 weeks of preclinical extramural studies.
Mhm.
So extramural studies basically translates into externships, and that's basically more aimed towards improving handling, improving people's knowledge of certain agriculture industries. Like there's 2 weeks required for equine and 2 weeks required for dairy. Lambing is highly recommended, but not required. And then the last 6 weeks of preclinical, you can do whatever you want.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. And in the States, we get a little bit of hands-on experience. We have a class called Clinical Skills, which is at the end of your first year, beginning of your second year, where we go and learn how to put a halter on a horse and learn how to milk a cow and learn how to do all the things that are pretty basic but might not be if you're someone who's only ever done small animal or only ever done large animal. So so we get a little bit of that, but I don't think as much as you guys do early on. And then our third year in the States, at least at my school, we have white coat ceremony 2 months into your third year. So we've got 2 months of classes, which is one block for us. And then we have white coat in October. And then you have your first year of clinics. And I'm about to finish my first year, which is crazy that I've been in clinics for a whole year already. But the rotations that I've done so far are local medicine, so your basic dog, cat, vaccines, spay, neuter, dentals, things like that. Shelter medicine, so a lot of spay, neuter. Equine techniques, which was just like a elective for horse people, but I'm a little timid around horses, so I really just wanted to practice before the real deal. And I went through emergency and critical care, which I'm really excited about, and that's maybe what I want to do. I had my oncology rotation at Missouri. I had an externship, or you guys call them EMS, but we kind of call them externships, in Portland. And then I went back to Missouri, had my cardiology rotation, and then I came here for my oncology rotation at the University of Glasgow. And when I leave here, I'll be doing an emergency and physical therapy externship in Chicago, and then I'll be back at the university for pathology, and then my fourth year will start. So crazy whirlwind.
Yeah, sounds like it.
But what about you guys for your third year?
So third year, I think the lectures and practical work becomes slightly more dense. I'm not exactly sure how it all works. I'll get there next year.
Yeah.
But you still are in lectures, and as I said previously, it goes a little bit more case-based with things that go wrong.
Okay.
And also with third year, and sometimes if you finish up your preclinical early in second year, you can start your clinical EMS, which you have 26 weeks worth of required clinical EMS before you can graduate in fifth year. So it's a lot, but I also think that it's worth it, and it's a lot of really, really good experience that can be gained there.
That's awesome. Then we also have fourth year, which for me is my last year. And in fourth year, I have a radiation elective. I have theriogenology, ophthalmology, equine medicine, and surgery. And so that was my real world equine rotation that I wanted a little practice for. And then I have an elective oncology rotation, elective emergency rotation, small animal internal medicine. We have radiation and anesthesia. And then I have another off block like the one I'm on now. I don't have it planned out just yet, but I'll go maybe to Colorado or California or Arizona or someplace and check out other clinics and things like that. And then I have food animal, and then soft tissue, neurology, and orthopedic surgery. So finishing out with surgery, which I guess is a good thing, but so that is what my 4th year looks like. And yeah, what do you...
So 4th year, I am fairly certain is approximately the same structure as 3rd year. However, this is the last year of lectures for students. There is no white coat ceremony. However, on the last day of lectures in 4th year, apparently most of the 4th year class, they all buy animal style, like sleeping onesies, and then go out on the vet school steps and take a picture. I guess that's our version of a white coat. And a lot of people have have a lot of fun with that. So yeah.
Nice. And then 5th year for me might be, so I'll graduate after my 4th year after I take boards, and right now I'm in the process of deciding whether or not I want to do an internship. And so if I do, that will be kind of my 5th year of study, and I will go and be a real doctor and work, but I will have like people above me that I can go to and ask questions of. And a lot of people do not do an internship and they'll just go out straight into practice, but some people who might want to go into emergency, or if they want to specialize or not sure if they want to specialize, they'll do an internship. But yeah, what about you, 5th?
So 5th year, you're basically a vet. However, you were still under the school's wing, as kind of the way that I've I guess understood it in my own brain, because 5th year is kind of this enigma that I have no idea what's going to happen. It's far away, but it'll be here before I know it, which is scary. I know that there are tier 1 and tier 2 rotations. I'm not exactly sure, because I've heard of people having tier 2 rotations before they have had their tier 1, so I'm really not sure how all that works, but I'm sure it's fine. There are no lectures during this year. That during 5th year, you'll take the NAVLE and basically get ready to, if you're a States person and you want to go back to States, you just prepare to go back, I guess, and then you're finishing up your clinical EMS and graduating.
Cool.
And then beyond that, I'm mulling over an internship. It's definitely on the table for me because I want to go into sport horse medicine, specifically high performance, and that's definitely going to require an internship. So it is an extra year for 5th year as compared to a U.S. vet school, but I think in the grand scheme of things, when we're looking at, say 30 years of practice, maybe more, what's an extra year in school?
Yeah, exactly.
It's very small in the scheme of things.
Yeah. And we were kind of chatting about this earlier, how, decades ago, vet school was 4 years, at least in the States, and today in the States, vet school is 4 years, and just thinking of all of the knowledge that we've amassed in that amount of time, and all of the, areas of study, like immunology existed, came into existence in that amount of time, and just the fact that we're still putting all of that knowledge into the same amount of time, like, it's a lot. And of course I'm doing a program where they shrink it into an even smaller amount of time, which I think there's a lot of good things too, but everything is pro and con, and I can definitely see that. For me, the pro is more clinical time, but for you, the pro is like being able to learn all of it over a longer period of time and maybe absorb it a bit more, or less stressfully. I mean, no one will ever know because you don't go to 2 vet schools at once normally. And so it's hard to compare it on that side of things. But yeah, I could see that. I mean, depending on what your personality type is, and what your study type is, I could see that being a pro for some people. Yeah.
And the other thing with coming to Glasgow is that for me, it's become a bit of an adventure. Because I wanted to go see Europe, and this is, for me, I'm hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm getting fantastic education, but I also get to travel to Europe if I want to, and it's very, very easy. The other thing I was going to say about Glasgow, half of your class, or just less than half of your class, is going to be in the 17 to 19 range. It's odd for us North Americans to see people that are so young
because there they go from high school to vet school.
Yes.
Their high school is a bit longer, a bit more intense.
Well, their high
from
school
what I
isn't
understand.
longer.
Okay.
It's I think it's just a bit more comprehensive, because I think in the U.S. when we graduate at 18, you can graduate with, you can either do the minimum amount in high school or you
Yeah.
could have done the maximum amount. However, their minimum amount, you can stop going to high school at 16.
Yeah.
And then anything beyond, or to the time that you graduated 18, is called hires.
Gotcha.
And I think that covers probably a lot of what we cover in undergrad,
Gotcha.
or at least the basic science that prepares them to go to veterinary school much earlier.
Yeah.
And it is possible to get into Glasgow as a North American, I think through the International Baccalaureate system,
Gotcha.
I think.
Cool. But yeah, that's good to know. Okay, so there are also some fun things that happen in vet school. It's not all super hard work. And at least in the States, at my school, we have like cute little traditions, and one of them is, well, three of them really are, we throw parties every so often that are thrown. So the first one is thrown by the second years for the first years, and it's called Smoker. And it's a non-school affiliated function that when we threw it as second years, we rented out this like brunch bar place, and it's just a really fun party, and it's to celebrate the first years completing their first anatomy exam, which are very difficult. And so when you get through your first one, it feels so good, and you're so tired from studying, and it's just exhausting. And then to go somewhere and have a party be thrown in your honor after doing this, you're just like, yeah. And it's really nice, and there was like free pizza and drinks, and it was just really fun. And then so that's first year. And then second year, well, at the end of first year, we have something that we throw called roaster, and that is after your very last anatomy exam. So it's kind of the beginning and the end of anatomy, and so that one you're exhausted because you're like, I've finally finished anatomy and I'm done and I never have to do it again. And that one, the theme is we roast one of our professors, and it's all in good fun, and ours was so funny, and she was an amazing sport, and it was just a great time. And then during roaster we also have superlatives, and so it's like person most likely to blank, and they were just hilarious, not mean, but just so funny. And then after your last clinical, or after your last lecture right before clinics, and before white coat, we have another party that we throw that one of our professors holds. It's called Toaster, which was started relatively recently, but I'm really excited that it catches on, and it's a champagne toast for all of the people who are about to go into clinics. So we have these little traditions which are really fun, and you guys have some traditions too.
Oh, Lord, we do. So every fall there's always a welcome back party. There's a theme to it. My first year it was welcome back to the circus.
Nice.
This year it was 9 to 5, so everybody dressed professionally. And then every February there is a little thing called the Weekend of Dreams.
I didn't realize that's what it was called.
Yes. And it kicks off on Thursday night with a thing called Mr. Vet School, where the boys from the vet school voluntarily, they volunteer to put on a little risque show. And then the second day, on Friday, there's a thing called Old Boys, where people go out and play sports. I'll be honest, I don't really know what happens there because I've never been.
We're not particularly athletic people.
I mean, honestly, you have to recover after Mr. Vet School and then get ready for Vet Ball, which is on Saturday, and it's a ball, which has a Kaylee in it dinner served, and there's dancing, and it's a big party, and it's all school affiliated, which is the scariest part. Like your professors judge Mr. Vet School. It's very interesting.
But it's also fun because some of our professors come to our parties too, and to those specific ones. And we also have like a vet prom, or and we have that every year. And some professors will come and hang out and help out, and because it's fun because we're not like kids anymore in a sense, and we're about to be their colleagues, so I think they're like, you're funny, a little crazy, but like you're about to be in our profession, and I think there's a respect there that's nice. And
and I think that it lets us, I think sometimes we see our professors as almost machines or unhuman, I guess, and I think it adds a certain...
just very distant,
very distant, I think that's a good way to put it, and it makes them seem more human and a little bit closer to home, more relatable, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, and something that you can be more comfortable with, or like ask for help if you need it, or I mean, we're all going to be there in practice one day where we're like, I have never seen this before.
I'm going to call...
What do I do?
I'm going to call them up.
Call it up, but yeah, so... I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. If you guys are considering going to a UK vet school, comment down below. Let me know what's going on. And yeah, be sure to click the notification bell so you don't miss any videos that we put out. And yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye guys.
Bye.